Mystery object shot down over Canada by F-22 Raptor last year. Canadian authorities have released an image of an unidentified object that was shot down over the country's Yukon Territory by a U.S. Air Force F-22 Raptor stealth fighter in February 2023. This is the first image of any of a trio of still unidentified objects that were downed over the United States and Canada that month, details about which remain scant. The new disclosure continues to raise more questions about those incidents given that the picture appears to have been declassified within days of the shootdown, but was then withheld from release until now. Canada's CTV News first published the image of what is also known as Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, UAP, 23, seen at the top of this story and below, along with an accompanying string of partially redacted internal emails from members of the Canadian Armed Forces earlier today. UAP is the term U.S., Canadian, and other authorities currently use to refer to what have been commonly described as unidentified flying objects, UFOs, in the past. The outlet said it independently verified the records after receiving them from an unnamed source who had obtained them via an Access to Information request. Canada's Access to Information Act is similar in many respects to the U.S. Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, but the former is only accessible to Canadian citizens. UAP 23 was downed over the Yukon on February 11, 2023. This came 2 days after another unidentified object, also known as UAP 20, was shot down in U.S. airspace off the northern coast of Alaska. A shootdown of a third unidentified object as it passed over Lake Huron came on February 12. This all followed U.S. and Canadian authorities tracking a Chinese spy balloon passing through their airspace for days before deciding to destroy it as it soared out over the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of South Carolina on February 4. The very low-resolution and grainy image we now have of UAP-23 shows a broadly donut-like shape with an open center, as well as an apparent notch or gap in its circumference on one side. It is possible that what is seen is light reflecting only from certain parts and that what is visible is not truly representative of its full shape. The quality of the picture, which CTV News notes appears to be a photocopy of an email printout, makes it impossible to discern any definitive details. The image appears to have been taken from an aircraft below it, although that has not been confirmed, CTV News report adds. The best description we have is, visual a cylindrical object. The top quarter is metallic, remainder white. 20-foot wire hanging below with a package of some sort suspended from it, one of the associated emails, dated February 11, 2023, says. Looking at the released picture again with this description in hand, it looks like it might show a balloon catching the sun with a payload underneath. At the time, Canadian authorities described what had been shot down over the Yukon as a small, cylindrical object.
So can we just go back for a moment? So another aircraft of some sort, airship, balloon, something was shot down today. Who owns it? What were the circumstances? Was the president directly involved in ordering this? And is wreckage being recovered?
Well, okay, so I'm going to try. Remind me if I forget something.
Okay.
Yes, the president absolutely was involved in this decision. He ordered it at the recommendation of Pentagon leaders. He wanted it taken down, and they did that. They did it using fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command. The Pentagon will have more to say about the details of this later on this afternoon. It's only just within the last hour. We're calling this an object because that's the best description we have right now. We do not know who owns it, whether it's state-owned or corporate-owned or privately owned. We just don't know. We don't know. As I said, state-owned. We don't know if it's state-owned, and we don't understand the full purpose. We don't have any information that would confirm a stated purpose for this object. We do expect to be able to recover the debris. Since it fell not only within our territorial space, but on what we believe is frozen water, so a recovery effort will be made, and we're hopeful that it'll be successful, and then we can learn a little bit more about it.
Was its appearance like the Chinese aircraft?
No, it was much smaller than the spy balloon that we took down last Saturday. The way it was described to me was roughly the size of a small car, as opposed to a payload that was like 2 or 3 buses size, right? So much smaller, and not of the same, no significant payload, if you will.
And lastly, is it now the policy of the United States that if unidentified aircraft are over U.S. territory, that it is likely the president will choose to shoot it down?
The president will always act in the best interest of our national security and in the safety and security of the American people.